Hey guys, welcome to Start Somewhere the podcast. I'm your host Isabelle Prestia, and I'm so excited you're here.
Welcome to Start Somewhere the podcast with Isabelle. I'm your host Isabelle Prestia, and I'll be sharing my mind shifts and tools to turn your struggles into some of your best wins ever. We'll be chatting how you can fight fear, cultivate confidence, and become the most empowered person I know you are so deserving of. All by starting somewhere. Let me tell you about a story. There was this girl. She wanted to feel her best self. She wanted to ooze confidence, feel empowered, and be bold in her decisions. She wanted to follow her intuition, live a healthy and happy lifestyle, and be surrounded by fulfilling connections. She knew there was more to life than what she was living, and she knew she was struggling to see this clearly. She moved out of home with her long-term boyfriend of 4 years, had a close group of 12 best friends, and from the outside, things seemed to be going pretty well. But one thing stayed on her mind. She was constantly reminded she couldn't see clearly. Times felt foggy. She often felt like she was picked up and placed in a moment of her life that she wasn't yet ready to experience. She felt so out of place. She felt those intuition feelings for years. You know, the deep gut-like ones, and she ignored them because it was way easier to put up a facade than to feel uncomfortable, lonely, and sad. She continued to look after her health, but ignored how unhealthy her relationships were. And then a tower moment happened. It's like the universe got tired of watching this girl sleepwalk through life, putting up with connections who weren't valuing her. She found out her boyfriend was cheating on her, with that friend he always told her not to worry about. This, of course, made her realize she had one of two options. Number one, let it ruin her. Or number two, move forward. She chose the second one. I know we've all been through hard struggles. Some of you may be in one right now. Others may have just released it. And I'm here to tell you to keep going. In case you didn't realize, this has been my journey, and now I feel like it's time to share it with you. I wanted a way out, and I'm sharing with you how I owned that way out. All by starting somewhere. Hey everyone, it's Isabelle here. Before I dive into this podcast, I just want to say take everything I say with a pinch of salt. Throughout this first season, I'm going to share how to face your fears and smother them with love. But most importantly, how to cultivate the confidence I know that you deserve. This can be the confidence to walk away from something or someone that's no longer serving you, or perhaps it's the confidence to walk into a party or an event or just somewhere where you don't know many people. Or it can even be the confidence to put yourself out there, as simple as posting something online or even messaging someone new for the first time. Point is, confidence looks different to everyone, and this all starts from going within. In my experience, I've realized there's power in vulnerability, as this is where your ego is put down and the real you is about to shine. If that sounds pretty crazy. If you don't really know, your ego is what is ruled by fear. And so, as I said a few moments ago, I'm going to share how to smother your fear with love. And that is ultimately what has worked for me to become the most confident I am now. And by being vulnerable is how you own your power. So you simply just need to start. So I want you to think of the ideal person you dream of becoming. Who are their friends? How do their friends make them feel? What does their life feel like? So we're going to keep it super simple and focus on the feeling. So is it fun, unique, fulfilling? Are these connections with kind, caring people? This is everything I was seeking for, and I wholeheartedly say I found these people within moments of letting go of my past. I found in order to make room for new people, just new anything, you need to release the negative situations that are no longer serving you. And you have to be okay with this and be upfront with yourself. Okay, now that we have the feeling down packed, I want you to let go of all expectations. So focus on the feeling that these new connections are going to provide you. And this allows us to become aware of the power of our minds. My pure intention in this podcast and with my whole branding and online presence and everything that I do is to help people, because I realize there is so much power in helping people. I saw how super simple mind shifts can make a huge difference. For example, you can change your perspective on what is no longer serving you. So whatever struggle you have in your mind right now, it can be 10 years ago, it can be 10 days ago, whatever it is, realize your perspective on what has happened is going to pan out the rest of your future. So maybe you got played by somebody, maybe you got cheated on, maybe you trusted someone too much and it didn't go on a positive route. Own it. Own that negative side. And as soon as we start to own the negative is when we own our power. So we step into our power. So we are cultivating confidence. People who are confident, they are sure of themselves. They're sure of their decisions, their actions, the people in their life. They're sure of who they allow into their circle and who they trust and who they tell things to. And of course, sometimes we're going to be wrong. I know that's happened to me before. You think you know somebody and you don't. Or you trust someone too much, or you just get a good feeling about someone and it's like ugh, you're just so wrong. But whatever. Life goes on. Don't hate people. Don't keep moving. Keep moving forward. Even if it's like one step forward, one step back, you're still moving. Like, just don't stay stagnant. I mean, of course we can at times, but don't stay stagnant for a long period of time. Realize we have to keep moving forward if we want to get to our most empowered self that I know you are so deserving of. So I want you to become aware. Be open and honest with whatever is happening to you or has happened. So any negative situation, like I said before, so realize it's your perspective that then shapes the future. It shapes the rest of your life. How do you want your life to pan out? How do you want to feel? You can control this. So by owning your struggles, you're becoming more vulnerable, and then you're owning your power. So come to terms with what is and then take ownership of that. In my eyes, it's a waste of time to play the victim card. Of course, we're allowed to be upset and sit with our feelings, but don't be a victim of what has happened to you and blame others for that. And this is where we're able to conquer our lives. So like I said before, I had two options. I could let it ruin me, and I could go through all the negative emotions and just kind of be a victim of what happened to me. And the thing is, when you do that, you're not learning. You're not learning what you've gone through. You're not growing. That situation, maybe not exactly the same, but similar, is going to happen to you again in the future at some time until you learn. I'm sure you know of, or you've heard of this, people who get into relationships and they're quite similar to their ex. And it's like because those people haven't learnt from their past and they're not growing from those negative times, and they're just either suppressing, they're ignoring the feelings, or they're fighting them, they're jumping to another partner like 3 months later, they're not facing their demons, like they're running away, and that's not letting their true self shine through. So something that worked for me is I literally wrote out what had happened to really just come to terms with it, and then realize, okay, now it's up to me. Do I want to move forward? Do I want to stay stuck in this feeling? Yeah, like I said, I honestly wrote out on a piece of paper, my boyfriend of 4 years cheated on me, yada, yada, yada. And it sucked, realizing that. And it was just so real and raw, but it just made me realize all right, let's move on now. What's next? And I'm a very positive person for people who know me personally. And I was okay, where is the positive in this situation? And that's how I, realized all of this. I came back around to the truth, and I made myself realize okay, I'm deserving of 100 times more better. And I'm going to create that for myself. And I literally wrote out the life I wanted and started living it. It was so powerful. I focus on the feeling. I focus on what I wanted my friendships to bring me. I focus on how I wanted to feel in my life. And I just worked so hard towards achieving that. And it all starts with also being super clear. So, for instance, maybe the feelings you want to feel in life could be a bright, successful, fun, passionate, unique, fulfilling future. I want you to choose. Like, it is up to you. There are no limits. Choose what you want and start living it. You're doing amazing. You are drawn to this podcast for a reason. You are listening to me for a reason. Be proud of yourself. You got this. Keep on going. We are taking ownership of our lives and shifting that perspective into controlling our flight. So we are controlling how we react to the world. We are controlling how we react to situations that happen to us. If you followed my journey for some time, or you know a bit about myself, my brand, you know meditation is a huge driving force behind everything about me. I am so passionate about meditation because it has positively transformed my life in so many ways. So you can't change the world, but you can control how you react to it. That's a quote I found ages ago when I first got into all this mindful wellness living. And it's so simple and so powerful. And the more you believe it, the more you're going to strengthen it. And that's something I've discovered as well. We go to the gym to strengthen our body. You have to think of your mind as a muscle as well. So I'm going to get into intuition in later episodes, but I'm really going to focus on mindset now and your beliefs and your perspective. So the more you strengthen this, the more you believe in your thoughts, the more powerful they're going to be and the more true they're going to be. Life is your perspective. If you just keep this really open mind throughout listening to my podcast, it's just going to help so much. What I changed about myself, it showed me if I can do it, anyone can do it, because I'm no different to you. I'm not special in any way, shape, or form. No one is special. No one is better than anyone else. I just found some really incredible tools and I found myself, and I realized it's so simple to do, and I want everyone to realize this. So what I firstly realized is there is power in vulnerability. So this is where your ego is put to rest, put your ego aside, and the real you is able to shine through. So a big thing that I'm going to constantly be talking about is ego, because ego is a killer, and how conquering your ego and smothering it with love is cultivating confidence. And I know that you are deserving of that. We are all deserving of that. Like I said before, nobody is different. Nobody is special. The only thing that makes anyone different to each other is their mindset. It's their perspective. It's how they look at the world. It's how they look at situations that happen to them. Do you want to grow from it? Or you want to own it? It's up to you. And it's so simple, I think, as soon as you get that concept wrapped around your head. I guess with my story, I got out of that relationship. I set up life again, and it was an interesting time because I felt like I had fresh eyes. I could see clearly, and I was so into meditating and journaling, and that's what was my thing. I know that's not going to be the same thing for everyone. That was my rock, and it's pretty interesting. I learned meditation almost a year ago now, and I learned it right before I had this, I'm going to call it a tower moment, happened. And I looked at it as it's like the universe was like, okay, this girl's going to go through a pretty rough time. Let's teach her meditation so that she can own that way out. And that's what I did. So I focused on being surrounded by these fun, fulfilling, unique, compassionate people. And I realized in order to make space for these new people in my life, I had to let go of the old people in my life. You can't be greedy. You can't have everything. And if you do, it's not quality. Who cares about quantity? It's quality that we need. And it was lonely at some times, but it wasn't that lonely, to be honest. And it wasn't as scary as I thought it would be. And it's funny, when I was going through everything, looking back now, I don't know how I was so calm and so chill. But in the moment, it felt right. It felt so aligned. And that's what kind of kept me going. So I'm going on a tangent here. So I want you to focus on these feelings, that these connections, that whatever it is going to provide to you. So once you really fixate on that feeling, we really become aware of the power of our minds. So your mind is so bloody powerful. I cannot even stress it enough. And the more you strengthen it, the more you will see it. And as soon as you start to see it firsthand, you'll believe it so much more. If you think about, you go to the gym to strengthen your muscles, your mindset and your intuition is the exact same as just an internal muscle that you constantly need to build upon. By me ignoring my intuition for so long, my intuition was weak as hell because I was not listening to it. And it's like it just kind of gave up giving me the bad signs because it knew I was just going to push them down. As soon as I started listening to my intuition, I honestly felt like I matured. I think I grew up so much. From being 18 to 22, I don't think I matured that much. I was quite immature, to be honest, at 21, 22 even. And it's like as soon as I kind of faced everything that was coming, I was so upfront with everything that was going on in my life and just took ownership of it. And it's like I was on this high on life. Like it was controlled though. Like it wasn't a flight or fight response. I was just controlling my flight. And that's what you're going to hear a lot of as well. That's my tagline with meditation. You're controlling your flight. You're controlling your life. And as soon as I started doing that, I grew into myself and I matured and I was like, okay, like I am an empowered woman. Like I can do this. I can do whatever I want to set my mindset to. And I did. And I didn't let anything get in the way. I didn't let insecurities and I didn't let people and negative thoughts. I just banished all of that. I just did not allow any time for it. And I just realized there's so much power in being honest and having integrity. Like I just really want you to realize it's just so powerful just to be a kind human, just have a good soul and just care for people. If you tell somebody that you love them, care for them. If you have friends or people around you or you're dating people, just be kind to them because there's no use being an asshole. Like it's not going to get you anywhere. And whether you believe in karma or not, I know we may not all believe in it, but like regardless, you can't be a really crappy human and expect amazing things to happen to you. That's not how it works. And this all started as I helped myself. I saw how super simple mind shifts can make a huge difference. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. If you enjoyed this and you want to see more, follow our journey on startsomewhere.podcast on Instagram. I'm Isabelle, and I look forward to chatting with you in our next episode. Have a sweet day.